What's up mga kadso? Good day everyone. I hope you guys are safe and doing well. So for today's video, we're gonna talking about cyber digital literacy, which is building and enhancing literacy across the curriculum. But before that, I will introduce first myself. My name is Jomark V. Omandak, and this are the topic that we will be tackled later. So pay attention. First is cyber citizenship, the digital age. Internet safety, cyberbullying and cybercrimes, managing computer threats, researching and evaluating the web, social media use, mobile device and digital threats. At the end of the unit, the per-service teacher first is develop a working understanding of cyber digital literacy and how they related to one another. Second is appreciate the importance of developing cyber digital literacy, both in ourselves and one another, in the information age. The third one is realize that practices steps must be taken and develop those literacies early in children and cannot wait until they are older. So, let's proceed our topic. What comes into your mind when we see or when we heard digital literacy? So, digital literacy can be defined as the ability to locate, evaluate, and communicate information on various digital platforms. So, when we talk about digital platforms, there are types of platforms. First is social media platform like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. Second one is knowledge platform like Quora, Yahoo Answers, and next is media sharing platforms like YouTube, Spotify, Vimeo, and service-oriented platform like Over, Urban, Grubhub. So why is that digital literacy is important? Students who are building digital literacy skills understand the basic of internet safety, such as creating strong password, understanding and using privacy setting, and knowing what to do or to share on social media. But benefits of teaching your students digital literacy skill begin in the classroom right now. So digital literacy is a crusade to helping students become lifelong learners. It teaches them essential life skills as well as academic skills. Just like example, use web browsers, search engines, emails, text, wiki, blogs, photoshops, PowerPoint, video creation editing, software, etc. to showcase learning. Cyber literacy means that the ability to use computer technologies effectively and simultaneously understand the implications of those actions. The word's understanding is the key here as it goes beyond the way how to use the technology to have continuous of one's action. According to the Alkaline 2004, digital skills are needed to perform tasks, to solve problem, digital environment. So it is a find that regional information and computer literacy according to Broden 2008, 2001 in Snavely and Cooper 1997, Behrens 1994, Andrita in 2007, Weaver and Johnson in 2000. So much of that skills and competencies listed by Sapero and Hayes 1996 in the curriculum they envisioned to promote computer literacy should sound very familiar to readers today. First is tool literacy. Competence in using hardware and software tools like Evernote, EdoClipper, Pinterest, Skype, Padlet, and many more. The second one is resource literacy. It is the understanding forms of access to information resources, the ability to understand the format, location, access method, or information resources. So, in other words, you put on credits or access information in the internet. The third one is social and structural literacy. It is the understanding the production and social significance. So it is knowledge of how information socially situated and of information produced and includes understanding the scholarly publishing processes or about how information fits to the life of groups about the institution, social networks. universities, libraries, researches, communities, corporations, government agencies, and community groups. The next one is research literacy. Using IT tools, research, and scholarship of research literacies is the ability to understand the use of technology tools. To carry out the research include disciplinary related software, so it is also the ability to understand the use of IT tools based on the relevant of today's research and scholars. So next is the publishing literacy. This literacy is the ability to communicate and publish information. So publishing literacy is the ability to produce a text or a multimedia report of the results of research. Also is the ability to format and publish research ideas electronically and textual and multimedia forms like World Wide Web, electronic mail and distribution list, CDRO waves, and of course, emerging technologies literacy. It is the understanding of how developments, IT, or the ability to ongoing to adapt, to understand and evaluate, and make use of continually emerging innovations and information technology. So, as not be a prisoner of prior tools and resources and to make more intelligent decision about the adaptation of new ones, lastly will be the critical literacy, the ability to evaluate the benefits of new technologies. So critical literacy is the ability to evaluate critical intellectual human, a social strength, weaknesses, potential and limits, benefits, and cost of information technologies. So note that critical literacy, this literacy is not like critical thinking, which is often as a component of information literacy. When we talk about critical thinking skills, is actually developed with a framework of critical literacy. The term digital literacy is not a new according to Lanham. He said 1995 in one of the earliest example of functional definition of the term described the digital literate person as being skilled at disciplining understanding and meaning of images, sounds, and subtitles uses of words so that he/she could match the medium of communication to the kind of information being presented and to whom the intended audience is. So, 2 years later, according to Paul Gleiser, 1997, formally defined digital literacy as the ability to understand and use information of multi-formats from a wide range of sources when it is presented via computers, explaining that the only must a person acquire the skills of finding things, he/she also acquire the ability to use these things in life. So if we compare the different definition of digital literacy of Lanham and Gleiser, Lanham defined that if you are digitally literate person, you can despair understanding the meaning of images, sounds, and subtitle uses of words, while Gleiser defined that not only person acquires skills of finding things, but also he/she acquires the ability to use things in life. So next, Bowden 2008 collocated the skills and competencies comprising digital literacy from contemporary scholars on the matter into 4 groups. First is the undefinings. This refers to those skills that competencies that support or enable anything else within digital literacy, namely traditional literacy and ICT literacy, the ability to use computers in everyday life. Second is the background knowledge. This largely to knowing where information in a particular subject or topic can be found, how information is left, and how it is disseminated, a skill taken for granted back in the day, when information almost exclusively resided in the form of printed text. The third one is central competencies. These are the skills and competencies that our majority of scholars agree on as being core to digital literacy today, namely reading and understanding digital and non-digital formats, creating and communicating digital formation, evaluation of information, knowledge assembly, information literacy, and media literacy. And of course, last not but the last, attitude and perspective. Broden 2008 suggests that it is these attitudes of perspective that thanks digital literacy today with traditional literacy, seeing it is not enough to have skill and competencies. They must be grounded in some moral framework, specifically the independent learning and moral social literacy. So when we talk about independent learning, it is the initiative and the ability to learn whatever is needed for a person, specific situations. So independent learning is a method of learning process for learners who have ownership and control of their own learning and by their own actions and direct, recollect, assess their own learning. So an independent learning is able to set goals, make choices and decisions, how to make her learning needs and take responsibilities for constructing and carrying out of his own learning. So monitor his presence towards achieving his learning goals and self-assess their learning outcomes. Last one is moral social literacy. An understanding of correct, acceptable, and sensible behavior in a digital environment. So when we talk about moral social literacy, it involves recognizing moral dilemma in everyday life. In our society, how we teach students to be moral. We cannot simply tell them how to think. So students need to be informed on how to make their own decision and opinions regarding social issues. So moral literacy are important because students needs to be able to identify what is right and wrong. On their own, student must realize that every action has its own consequences. So I personally plan to teaching on morals suggest friendship, loyalty, respect, caring, trust, honesty, citizenship, responsibility, and fairness. So these values can be taught in a subject area and it is dependent on the type of the assessment. So that's it. I hope you guys learned a lot from my topic and pay attention the information and important details. Thank you and once again, good morning.